Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. I am Jasky, also known as Mr. Sick Cunt, Australia's number one street interviewer in terms of views collectively over the year. And also someone who has gone from being a very nervous, introverted, sweaty, uncomfortable communicator to someone who has spent entirely my obsession day and night in how can I improve my communication skills to be able to open up opportunities and to get better in this one skill that can help me essentially unlock many opportunities in my life, which has resulted in me traveling the world as a stand-up comedian, being able to generate enough income through cold calling. Collectively, my businesses do $1 million a month, and a majority of that has come from cold calling. Negotiations for high ticket items. I've been brought in as a consultant and have honestly developed relationships and uh, and met people and got access to people just from the one skill, and that is the ability to learn how to communicate better. Anyway, that's enough prefacing. Today, a little bit meta. I am going to try and look back at my own street interviews back in 2022, so approximately 4 years ago, and try and actually prove to you how bad some of those interviews were. I find them incredibly cringe to look back and revisit some of those dark past moments, which make you incredibly uncomfortable. But I think it's also very important to look back and actually go, hey, this is all learnable. It's all trainable. And all of the fluff that I said up top, which, makes it sound like I'm being self boasting, it is just to showcase that every one of these skills has been trained. I have not been gifted with any of these skills. In fact, I'm pretty awful at most skills. It is just consistently trainable. And I hopefully, by going back and having this uncomfortable confrontation, hopefully it'll show you that uh, if you are someone who fears their communication or fears that, I'm just an introvert. I'm just an average communicator. I just can't navigate myself in these tough situations. I can't command an audience. I can't entertain people. I can't be the funny guy. You don't have to get to the 100%. With enough training and enough incremental steps, you can be significantly better. Because as I'm going to show you, unfortunately wasn't really that great in some of these areas. All right. I'm just continuously rambling in hopes that I don't have to watch this, but we're going for it. All right, here we go. Have a look at that beautiful mug. All right, let's play this, and I'll let it play for a minute, and then I'll stop and I'll give you a little bit of commentary on how I hope you can learn to do things a little bit better by hopefully showcasing what I have learned in those years and have tried to implement. And in a few years again, I'll go back and revisit the things I was doing today and show you how dog shit they were. So here we go. All right, I'm here in the Perth CBD and I see a heap of people that don't look like they're working. So let's go talk to them and find out what they're doing. Hello, man. How are you? What a fucking terrible intro. That's so bad. Anyway, let's go. You? What are you up to?
Just going for a walk, bro.
Oh, yeah, we can walk with you. No, you could have some No, fuck me. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Hello, man. How are you?
I'm in a hurry, bro.
Is anyone going to talk to me today, bro? We've expended 15 minutes. What's on your mind? All right. Before we even jump into into that conversation, look, I guess in terms of the rejections, there isn't too much that you can get better. There are moments, there are people that you're not going to be able to engage with. There are things that could have been done better in those rejections, but that doesn't really matter. I'm not going to try and look into the nuances of how I could have navigated this rejection to turn into a potential conversation. I think it's better to progress forward and go into this interview that I know could have been significantly better. But it's good to know that there are certain moments that you cannot change. There are certain people, no matter how much you try. Let me rephrase it. There are certain no's in sales that beat up salespeople. Salespeople want to try and win that no. Sometimes it is better to leave that no because there is an opportunity cost of a yes that is getting in your way by you pursuing a bullshit no that's not going to go anywhere.
Not much. Just I've got nothing up here, mate.
You got nothing?
Nah, bro. Brain dead, bro.
No, I'm sure we'll get somewhere. First and foremost, the posture, terrible. I am not a fan because it doesn't instill any confidence, right? And it's also not creating the type of aura, the vibe, the character that that has taken me years to try and create, which is kind of a bit of a dopey, aloof, and a very easily approachable, a person you can have a conversation with because it's so low stakes. This person isn't really intimidating, confronting, kind of making you nervous, or any of those characteristics that prevent people from having a conversation. But this 2022 posture is not cool. It's a little bit too. It just looks a little bit off-putting because it comes across as a very condescending manner of standing. It's not. It's so that not even might not even be the right word. It is a very like I'm not really here. I just want to kind of. It's giving you this feeling of like there's that. Firstly, the uncomfortable. I'm already not present in this conversation. Face the expression. Then it's a very direct, upright posture, which is not okay for this kind of conversation where he's kind of slunched over and I'm not even mirroring it. I'm trying to be in the more dominant position. It's chest out, a little bit confronting, a little bit alienating. The person's got his hands inside of his pockets. He's shrugging. You've got to try and lower your status greater than the person you're interviewing, right? That is just how you disarm the other person. And I've learned that over the years. So anyway, the posture already is slightly off-putting. Now, the word condescending, probably not the right word, but you know, I can't describe a better way of how it makes me feel. It makes me feel it's not warm. It's not a warm, nor is it a completely disarming type of body language, type of posture, type of way of standing. It's not disarming. It's more off-putting.
What do you mean, man?
Well, what's what's bothering you? What's making life interesting? What are you guys doing?
Just
I think I asked like 5 questions at once, so I'm hoping you'll answer one of them. Terrible, terrible, absolutely terrible. What a horrible way to open. Now, if you open a conversation that you're having with someone, and you rattle off 5 different questions, there is a analysis paralysis. There's just a state of confusion that has already made that upfront interaction so awkward. Now that's obviously that's obvious to anyone. Anyone that listens to that will immediately go, okay, this is the stupidest way to start. So that's fine. But when you look one layer underneath that, is if you are recording this for someone watching, the opening part of a conversation, when you're clipping that into a final reel or a final video that someone's going to watch, like a longer form, whatever the final product may be, you don't have much room to clip the top, the front part of the interaction. Okay, and in most cases, we don't even clip the front part of the interaction. By clip, I mean remove. So when I approach the person, the front part of the interaction normally remains because that is the first time you are meeting that person, and that is what the person watching the video is going to see. How did you meet them? What was the interaction right up top? You can't just cut the opening interaction and jump into stage 2 of the interaction. It just wouldn't make sense. The video wouldn't work. So if you have that in your mind, that is how it's going to be cut eventually for the final product, and you're opening it in the way that I opened it, it defeats the purpose of the product, right? The first part has to be catchy, engaging, different, unique, left field, weird, interesting, just something that gathers someone's attention. However, people produce online content, this sort of stuff that you're seeing right now, the camera facing, face to camera, talking head sort of content, it's called the hook. You've got the hook. What is the hook? The hook here is boring as shit. It's just me walking up to a guy saying, I'm not really that interesting, and then me firing off 5 very banal questions. So it doesn't really serve the purpose of what you're trying to achieve because it's not interesting. So when you clip the opening, you're going to lose most of your audience.
Fucking, I'm a bit tired at the moment. Had to fucking watch a bunch of movies last night. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I'm not really that interesting.
No, bro. We'll get there. We'll get there. What about yourself? Again, he actually gave a little bit of something there. That was interesting. The way he communicated. Fucking bit tired. Had a bit of a night. Like he's carrying it by becoming a little bit of a unique character. He stepped out of his box a little bit. He added that accent, and he's like he's saying a little bit of something because he's like, fuck, this is not really going anywhere. Let me give him a little bit of something. And immediately the thing I do is move to the second party of the conversation. So strange. Like at that moment, that is a chance that he's giving you something. Okay, you've opened up a string. There is a chance to pull that string. He's bringing out his character. Like you look at this individual. He's got glasses. He looks a little bit nerdy. He's dressed like a very, I'm going to be a sensible, straighty 180 character, and he swore and then just said a bunch of like, just said a bunch of disparate things to the way he looks. And there you've got something, bro. You're tired. Come on, like what's making you tired, bro? Like you can dive deep into that, or you can go at your age, man. Come on, you're getting tired. Like you can either take the contrarian perspective. You can dive deep into it. It's opening a string. And unfortunately, I went to the second person, which not ideal.
School.
That's
it. That's it. School, gym, and cars.
School, gym, and cars. Interesting, right? You like cars, or you work on?
I love.
Again, a ridiculous question. She just said, "I like school, gym, and cars," and here you can see the nerves. Right, I'm getting nervous here. I'm not comfortable. There is no silence to let the person talk, and then repeating. Oh, so you like cars? She already said, "I like cars." So strange. Let's just skip it back for a second. You like cars, or you work on?
I love cars. Love cars.
And then luckily this guy perked up here, because at that point in the conversation, most people would find that as such a repulsive and awkward start that they're likely to just go, let's just back out of this. This is not interesting. Whereas maybe cars was such a magnetic topic for this person, for this guy, that he now perks up, and you can see a little bit of passion starting to come out. And so at the moment, as an interviewer, it has not been handled well. So let's summarize. The body language is off, slightly awkward, slightly confronting, not very disarming, a little bit of there's like a feel of a level of sarcasm in the body language. And that's just how I feel watching that from a detached viewer. Opening terrible, 5 rattled off questions back to back. Possibly not interesting for anyone to watch. So editing that would be a humongous challenge. And then the guy gives me something. He gives me something unique, a unique glimpse into how he is, into the kind of person he may be. And I switch to the other party, which was completely unnecessary in that moment. And then she just says a bunch of things she's interested in. And then I try, because I'm like, I don't know where I'm going with this. I just repeat what she said, and it just becomes this humongously awkward interaction. So the opening is possibly as bad as you could open an interview.
Fucking my favorite car is Mitsubishi Starion.
I don't know anything about cars, but is that like an expensive car, or you just made a joke?
Oh no! Like
I've never heard a Mitsubishi be a aspiration for someone who loves cars. Or am I like, that was cool? That's good. Now you are trying to create a level of attention or naivety, bit of like an idiotic persona, and I think that's what I used to. That's what I've kind of kept leaning on. I used to always do that, but I've still leaned on that. Is that the idiotic persona? I don't know anything. A Mitsubishi, dude. Like a Mitsubishi is your aspirational car. Like Mitsubishi, bro. Like I would be incredibly disappointed if someone gave me a Mitsubishi. Like you're playing that idiotic you've got this idiotic character who literally has no idea, and that now there is a little bit of humor in this, right? He's mentioned a car that he would love, and and as that naive receiver, you're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Mitsubishi, terrible." So it is starting to warm up a little bit here. Wrong?
She drives a
Hey.
Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
Well, fucking, I don't know shit about cars, right? Here we go. I thought you were gonna say like Aston Martin,
Nah, fuck that shit.
Dodge.
That stuff's basic, bro. Everyone who's like into Porsches and fucking BMWs.
So I need to get into these Hyundai. What I love about this guy is he's carrying right now because the his the perception you have of that person does not match the way he communicates, and that's always interesting, right? And I've realized that over the 5,000 plus interviews that I've done. I forget the number. It's well beyond 5,000. But it's just easier to be conservative. So someone doesn't go, "Oh, well, you said 10,000, bro. Like you've only done eight and a half." So after so many interviews, you start to realize the first impression I get and the first impression a viewer gets. Of course, we have all our biases. We have our worldview, so it's kind of slightly different. But typically, when you see someone, you are expecting them to be like what you see other people look like that, right? Let me make that a little bit more simple. The way you're perceiving someone, you have a thought in your mind that they are going to talk like, they are going to have a worldview like, they are going to have likes. What I expect another person that looks like that to have, right? So when someone breaks that mold, so like this gentleman here, he, like I said, he looks like some kind of guy that would be into video games, maybe very mathematically gifted. He's some kind of massive reader of like the Harry Potter novel. Okay, I'm describing him as a massive nerd. Maybe not, right? Like when he gives me like this nerdy vibe. And then when he talks, he's like, "Nah, fucking, I'm not. Yeah, nah, like that's for fucking idiots, like Porsches." So that is very interesting because you can allow him to lean into that, and you as an interviewer now are aware that he's breaking the mold because he's broken the mold for me. He's obviously breaking the mold for the viewer, and that is interesting. It doesn't always have to be funny. Interesting is good enough, right? Interesting sometimes is better than wanting to manufacture funny. So letting him lean into that is a great approach. And that's why I feel like he's carrying, because if he came across the way we expected him, this interview would not have been interesting to anyone at all. Surprisingly, it actually performed quite well, this interview. So I think the main reason is that that man, he communicates and he has interest and he's saying things like you wouldn't expect him to. Yeah. He gets type
Yes,
fucking
JDMs for the win.
I've got a KD.
JDMs.
Yeah, I've got.
Japanese design mechanics.
Fuck, you just use an abbreviation. I said I had no idea about cars. She's like, "You must be into JDMs." What the fuck? What's another?
Japanese.
Again, I feel the cringe. Like watching this back, you wish you could step back into that and try and redo it because they're giving me a lot. Like the reason this interview is working is because I'm getting a lot from them. Abbreviations like JDM. She's bringing all the insiders into this conversation. Anyone else that knows JDMs is now going to go, "Oh fuck, what an idiot." But the way I approached it is with strange aggression. In that moment, it should have allowed some sort of humor, like the fact that it said I don't know anything about cars and using abbreviations. That's great, but then I delivered it by saying "fuck," like it was not required. It didn't. It actually pushed her back further. And cars. She's like, "You must be into JDMs." What the fuck? What's another?
Japanese cars.
All right, let me try again. Honda.
Yeah, Honda.
Honda, Supra,
Nissans.
And if you can see the body language of both of them here, it's a very interesting tell of when you are communicating with someone. And this doesn't mean just for street interviews. It's for any sort of communication with another person. Their body language reveals a lot, right? Her arms are crossed. She's a little bit hunched over. His hands are in his pocket. His legs are very close to each other. And he is slightly hunched over. They are not open in this conversation. They are very, very closed off because it has not allowed this conversation to relax. The conversation is being tense, and that is entirely up to the interviewer to allow you to release. It's your responsibility to release that tension. And in this situation, up until now, there's only been one moment of that laughter or kind of like being in some sort of harmony in that conversation where the the baseline of tension went from here down to here. And then with the aggressive way of getting back when she mentioned the acronym and my aggressive response, and the whole time just not really having much control and kind of stumbling through the conversation, their body language indicates they have not opened up yet. And at that point, I wasn't really perceptive of that. So it's very important to be perceptive of what the other person's body language is doing. And your body language can allow them to open up, even if you are having a nervous as all hell conversation as I am here. But my body language is showcasing like, oh, I am here as a stern judge, and I'm trying to interrogate you in like a, a non-democratic court, and the answers you give here are going to result in a prison sentence. You know, it's like it's not it's not allowing them to be open up and disarmed.
Nissan,
All right, so someone that's into cars, what's your dream car?
Mitsubishi Staring.
And you?
Or
You drive that, right?
Sylvia S15 or Corvette C8.
Would you just buy it, or do you do something to the vehicle? Are these kind of cars fun to drive?
Buy it first.
No, I get it's a fucking dumb question. Yes, of course, you buy the. Again, I like that. I like that she's calling it out, but that's making the interview better because she's realizing that. Well, maybe she's not realizing, but maybe in this instance, she's like, well, let me roast this guy because he doesn't have control of the conversation. And when someone can flip it and start roasting you, there's always that seesaw of power. And I'm okay in most cases to be at the complete bottom of the seesaw. But even if you're at the bottom of the seesaw and the other person feels like they have power, you are still the puppet master, being able to take the conversation where you are from a position of them having perceived power. I want people to be able to roast me. But whereas in this instance, you can feel that I think she gathers that, well, I feel comfortable and confident enough that I can roast this person back. So in this case, it kind of gives you this feeling that there isn't a control of the conversation, and she feels powerful in the conversation to be able to roast me. And that, unfortunately, is not manufactured, whereas I would like to manufacture it in most cases. In this case, it is unfortunately a product of poor flow, right? Poor flow and poor control of the narrative of where I'm trying to get this conversation to go. Vehicle, but like, do people buy it and then just turn it into like big spoilers and if like partially looks like it's about to fly into space?
Like that.
Don't hit them with the spoilers, man. That's just ricing your car. Not good, not good.
Yeah, well, that's the era I'm from. When people used to put the big spoilers as a flex, like I've got the biggest dick on this.
From that area, I've got a.
That era, you pointed at me like from that era, like
Era, yeah, no, I legit, no,
I'm 100 years old. Yeah, this old
You're
motherfucker.
old, bro. No,
That's the best. Like, so there you can feel, right? Like a person. So number one, you can feel there is a level of connection. Have a look. Like there's laughter. Everyone's laughing. Everyone is now a little bit more relaxed. You can see that there is obviously a level of connection because they came together to roast me, right? Which is awesome. But what allows that to happen here, and the lesson here is sharing your own story is so powerful, because when you can make something about, so when you are talking about someone else and expecting them to be the only person to open up, expecting them to share all the information, unfortunately, most people are unwilling to do that. It is a reciprocal dance where if you allow yourself to be open and you share some of your own story and you're volunteering enough information, even as a strategic negotiation, in points of negotiation where you start to share. This is done strategically because a negotiation is strategic. Obviously, interviews are also strategic to some extent, but negotiation are very high stakes strategy. And in those situations, you will share strategic amounts of information. And you will share that to feign to the other party that, oh, these people obviously don't know that much. They don't know what they're doing. They're sharing so much information. But what it does is it allows the other person to also open up to share information as well. So it allows you to develop a bit of rapport where the other person then might feel comfortable, or they might think you're stupid by sharing information, which both serves the same purpose, because then they're like, well, if I share information, they're not going to know, right? They're so dumb. They're sharing all of this. But it's all done strategically. But in a situation like this, by me saying, well, I come from the era where people had big spoilers and then that was their flex. That's what they did with their cars. And then this guy going, yeah, your era, like you're from like 100 years ago. That allows a level of connection because then I've shared something about myself and it opens the other party to share more information. So if you are networking in a room, for example, and you've just met somebody and you want them to give you a bit of information, the best way to do that is by giving them some information about yourself. And it's a reciprocity bias whereby you've given them something, even if it's just something about yourself, the other person feels indebted to give you something back. So if you want to extract information, you can't just expect a one-way giving, right? You've got to try and produce something so you can get something back. And that's why it allowed this moment to exist where there is laughter across all three of us and the conversation is opening up a little bit. The body language is still not fully there, but we'll get there.
No, I've got a Hyundai Tiburon, which is like an old, it's not old, it's like a 2000.
There you go. She's opened. The body language has gone from crossed armed, and you can see now, to a lot more open, right? She's less hunched, the hand on the hip, one hand by the side. Just that one little interaction has allowed her to open up. So finally, we've got to a point where from just observing body language, you can see she feels more comfortable. She is no longer guarded. Like I am still trying to protect myself from this absolute stranger who doesn't seem to have this under control. I'm a little bit nervous that he doesn't have it under control. And now at this moment, it's gone to a point. Okay, I feel safe. Yeah, it's kind of, I kind of feel like it's the ship is sailing a little bit more smoothly.
Thousands Hyundai sports car.
So if I tell you I drive an electric vehicle, is that going to piss you guys off?
Electrics are fine, but if you're like a Tesla driver and you're a fucking wanker most of the time.
Oh, I'm out of here. I'm a Tesla driver. No, really? I do drive a Tesla. Yes.
Oh, okay, but like, are you someone who goes like, oh, I drive a Tesla and I'm better?
I think I just did that, right?
No, like, do you think you're better than everyone for driving one?
I generally just think I'm better than everyone.
I hope you get better soon.
It's all right, man.
Yeah, so this is cool. Like this is where you want to get to, where even his posture is now a little bit more relaxed. She's way more open. This is more of a back and forth dance where now we found I've managed to bring all parties into a common bubble of agreeance, right? A common little pod where we can all agree on one thing, where Tesla people are wankers, right? There's a humor in that, right? There's a humor in the fact that we've conjured up a premise that is just stupid, but also it is allowing us to all agree on something, right? So, and you can see that, so at this stage, we are now starting to finally vibe, right? And what can you take away from that? What did it take? It took sharing of your own information, obviously humor. There was humor in that. Self-deprecation. Self-deprecation goes a long way. You can self-deprecate. You can dig deep into your own ego, which then allows you to give it back. You've dug such you've borrowed, sorry, you've by digging your own hole, you've given yourself such a ramp that you can slightly climb out by taking a dig at the other person. If you start digging at the other person without actually digging at yourself first, there will be pushback. There will be defenses up and resistance. So self-deprecation, talking about yourself, finally getting onto one runway of conversation. You're on one stretch. You are walking down a singular path. At the front, there was no direction. It was going all over the place. Here we are talking about people's favorite cars, about preferences of vehicles, and then common ground of electric vehicles not being a preference of anyone that likes vehicles, right? It's just for the adjacent room of wankers, right? So that's cool.
And it's a phase.
No, like I thought the aspiration these days was
It's all right, man. It's a phase.
no, like I thought the aspiration these days was for people to drive electric vehicles, and Tesla is the most prevalent electric vehicle,
You know
no?
what I think you need then? I think you need like a petrol guzzling MG, and smelling all the fumes just go up your nose.
Wow.
Brain.
You want to kill me is what you're trying to say.
It kills you, but it's good. It's good. It's like a good feeling.
To be
British engine.
heading towards deadness, yes.
I'm already there, so it's fine.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for your time.
What's your
Take care.
TikTok?
Mr. Sickhunt, SIKK. To be, and here's something interesting you can notice. I loved watching the girl's body language because it kind of indicated the ebbs and flows of this conversation. And here again,
British engine.
heading towards deadness, yes.
I'm already there, so it's fine.
So even that interaction, you could feel for a second there was a little bit of pause where it didn't, you couldn't tell where I was going. What is happening here? Like maybe are we ending up in that awkward drag where the conversation is really not going anywhere? And I think she starts to again feel like, okay, I'm a little bit awkward. I'm a little bit like closed off here because I again don't know where the hell this next thing is going. I opened up here for a second because we felt like we were in this vibe of talking about Teslas, and now I don't know where it's going. So it's interesting to watch her body language. It probably shows the cadence of the conversation. But in the end, it worked because they roasted me. I opened up to be roasted, and it turned out to be a interesting conversation for anyone that loves vehicles. And these two talked about vehicles. Anyone that has any interest in cars, they will jump on and talk about, JDMs, Japanese design make. I don't even know what it stands for. Japanese design manufacturers, Jack Daniels for men. I don't know. Look, whatever JDM stands for, those people will jump on and they'll find some like common ground. And then you will have the people that also think electric vehicle people are dickheads. So there is a little bit of strategy I did use in there to try and create those links for people. So people watch, they can jump on and go, what a dickhead with his electric vehicles. Allows people to jump on and comment on those things. And also the collective roasting of someone is also fun. It allows people to jump on and roast. But watching that back is, in fact, is probably good. I actually like watching some of the old interviews back and reacting to them to see them for the first time again after so long. It does showcase certain things that I can still learn, right? And hopefully these are the summary takeaways, because I like to keep summarizing. So hopefully at the end of it, you know what these takeaways are, and you can go away and go, okay, by watching that, here are certain things I can take on board. Number one is everything, mostly everything, not everything, sorry, mostly everything is body language and tone. Nail body language and tone, curated for the type of conversation you're trying to have, and you've virtually done it all, right? Honestly, you've virtually done it all. So create your body language for the situation you're in. And I say create specifically because you can create it. You can modify it for each type of conversation, right? And I won't go into details because I'm sure you know what I mean in most cases. We will talk about it consistently on most of these episodes. And And if you do want assistance with body language to help train your body language and potentially get me to help you, I only work with a very small number of people and people that have potential and people that I feel like are ambitious in using communication to open up the next potential in their life. I have worked with many people in the past, and I believe with a short diagnosis, roughly about 90 minutes, I can transform their communication. I know it's a big promise, but I've done it with enough people and have assessed this so many times for myself and learned so many things that I believe that I can achieve that for most people that fit a certain criteria. And that certain criteria we assess upfront. So if you do want me to coach you on that, you don't have to, but if you do, you can jump on the website jasky.me, jasky.me, or jaskysing.com and apply for the diagnostic. And within 90 minutes, we can work on your body language and whatever custom requirements you need to get to the goals that you want to achieve in the type of conversations that can have the biggest leverage and impact in your life. Or do some reading. There's plenty of videos. There's plenty of YouTube videos. There's masterclass. There's all kinds of classes. Go join them. And you can curate your body language for the outcome you want to have. And that will mostly do everything. The biggest problem with this interview, I believe, and it could have gone a lot better, was had the body language been curated better. It is not ideal for disarming someone very, very early. It took a lot, and it took a lot of verbal jujitsu towards the end to get there, and it didn't really get there. Overall, it's not an amazing conversation. It's quite subpar, but the only reason it got anywhere was it was carried by the interviewees, not by the interviewer. So now the body language, number one, and then you virtually got it all, right? The rest can be, the rest can you can throw all of that under the bridge and fuck it up. If you can nail the body language, the rest is not as important. Now, talking about the rest, if you are producing something to be interesting, you have to be interesting upfront. That part is non-negotiable. And even if it is not for viewing purposes, even it is to get someone's attention who you've never met ever before, the top part of the conversation, the first 3 seconds, is virtually the most important part of the entire conversation. You get the interest, you get something unique, you pique that interest with something, and you are already rolling in the right direction. And the rest of it can have a bit of stumble, da 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 da. And for that, I used to practice this get out of jail, like a Monopoly card, and I have 5 or 6 amazing bullet points for any of those sort of situations. And I've kept changing it, kept curating it to try and get it as sharp as possible. Sorry, get it as useful as possible when I'm in those situations. Here are the 5 or 6 levers I can pull to make the top really interesting. And I've learned that over so many years that I do that. You can create that for yourself. And again, if you want me to create it for you, of course, I can do that. Same thing, jaskysing.com, jasky.me, da 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 da. The top is the most important part of the conversation. And then, and then what made this interview interesting and what you can do to open people up, be self-deprecating, find a singular point. Don't go into 7 different parts and try and leave the pressure on the receiver, because they're going to go, what the fuck do you want me to talk about? Make it easy for me. Make it simple. Create a single train of conversation, because that makes it's clear you're in control, right? You are in control. Have the control. And yeah, what made this interesting? The self-deprecation, humor, positioning myself as the enemy of the people that love cars, and then you saw the conversation open up and it went somewhere. So yeah, hopefully we'll do more of these. And if you find any interviews that you would like me to critique, I'm totally up for it. So hopefully that was valuable. See you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.